Song about a guy whose love is alone at the moment, but in 13 days, the boyfriend's coming home. It's called 13 Days.
Yeah!
So back in the olden times, we used to have, in our town of Malvern, Arkansas, We used to have street dances, and we would have them on the Safeway parking lot or the drugstore parking lot or something like that.
Drugs.
And they would rope it off. So they would put a rope across the parking lot, and the band is inside the rope. And if you wanted to go inside the rope and dance, you paid $1 or 50 cents or whatever it was at the time.
50 cents? Gee.
And a lot of us figured out really early on, just guys who wanted to go watch the band play, we figured out that if you don't go inside the rope, it was free. So we used to go watch the Yardleys and the Beethovens and the Cadets and LSD and the Illusions and who else was there? There was a bunch of them. Anyway, we had a lot of bands in our town. And anyway, we'd have these street dances, and we wanted to pay tribute to that. Years ago, we did this song called "I'll Make You Dance" about them days. Thank you. Yeah! Alrighty. This is a song called "Summertime in LA" again. Thank you. So there was this girl. Once again, I don't know why I'm talking about Larry so much.
Larry!
Anyway,
We love you, Larry.
I know. Oh, you know, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but we have our Boxmaster outfits, which are meant to look like mechanic outfits. These are Dickies shirts.
Zodiac.
So what we have here is we have our name on one side, and my nickname is Bud, so I got Bud.
Bud!
And over here we have our astrological signs.
Yeah.
And what are you, Kirk? Aquarius.
Yeah!
Aquarius.
Aquarius!
That's you, girl.
He's a
Huh?
He's a Leo!
My sign? Oh, I'll get to it.
Where's Libra? Where's the
And back
Libra?
here, Larry, here's a Libra.
Yeah!
Now, Raymond, here's a Cancer.
Yeah!
Brad, what are you again? Aries. Brad's an Aries.
Larry!
That's bad news. Right there. Now, JD over here, like Larry, is a Libra.
Yeah!
And myself, I'm a Leo.
Yeah, Leo!
My birthdays are coming up pretty soon.
Happy birthday!
I've been nervous about hitting 40.
You look
I'm
dirty!
used to the idea. Anyway, I don't even know why I told you guys that. One way or the other. So, in our hometown of Melbourne, Arkansas, I've been in California for 41 years, but I growed up down there. And when we had these street dances, there was this drummer in Larry's band named Bucky Griggs. Now, Bucky wore glasses, and his glasses were always down the end of his nose, like so. Right? And he had this girlfriend named Joan Burnett, and we all liked her. We liked her very much. She was a real humdinger. And me, being a child, you know, I was a little kid, you know, but I was really nervous around people like that. Still am. But anyway, they had this dance at the Malvern High School gymnasium, which had a concrete floor at the time. And Larry Bird and Steve Walker, Butch Allen, and Bucky Griggs. And so Joan Burnett, Bucky's girlfriend, I was sitting there. I looked like Ernie Douglas from My Three Sons, if anybody ever remembers that. But I had buck teeth and black glasses, you know. And I was as nervous as I could be. Nervous as a cat around girls. Well, Joan Burnett, who's 4 years older than me, she comes across the gym, and she gets me by the hand, and she said, "Let's dance." I guess she thought I looked lonely. Well, my hands started sweating, and I just kind of stood there as she circled around me. And that was the extent of my dancing career. I was never a dancer. I was always in the band watching people dance, and I always thought, you know, women look really cool dancing, guys, not as much. So I never did it. So I wrote this song about Joan Burnett at the Malvern High School Auditorium called "That's Just Me Shakin'." this is going to be difficult to tell this story about this song because there are children present. So I'm going to tell it in adult code language. So years ago, there was this friend of mine. We were in a band together in high school, and his girlfriend in high school was the most beautiful girl in our county. We all liked her very much. She was a good friend. And she always wanted to get married and have children. And his dream was to have a bass boat and a Trans Am and a 3-bedroom brick home. That was his whole dream. And back where I come from, those are big doings. So, anyway, he used to talk to me about his problems all the time. And he would come to me and tell me what, the troubles that they were having together and all that kind of thing. Well, one thing led to the next, and she finally talked him into getting married. And so they did. And he got a job at Reynolds Aluminum Company, and he lived his dream of getting a Trans Am, a 3-bedroom brick home, and his bass boat. And they've been married for a couple of years, and he came to me and he said, listen, I like to do extracurricular activities, and she doesn't necessarily like to do those things. If I want to barbecue, I like to barbecue with 3 people as opposed to 2. And she didn't want to barbecue with anyone but him. So, anyway, he said, what can I do about this? I said, I have no idea. If she doesn't want to do it, don't make her do it, right? And he went on and on and on about this. And he kept trying to convince her to invite another person to come to a barbecue with them. She would not do it. Well, he wanted to end that marriage. The problem was his father was a Baptist preacher. And his father, the Baptist preacher, said, if you get a divorce, I shall disown you. And there was some money involved. So the only way he could separate this union was if she were to be barbecuing with someone other than him. You see what I mean? So he comes to me and he says, listen, I got to get out of this. So what if I were to offer you 100 Benjamin Franklin dollars to go over and have a barbecue with her, and then I were to come home untimely and to see you guys having this said barbecue, and that way I could get out of this deal. Well, I thought about it for a little bit, because $100 to me at that time was like $1.5 billion. So I thought about it very hard. But then I remembered where I come from, guys change their minds sometimes, and they might pull some weaponry out of their belt and decide they've changed their mind. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't do it in the end, but it did cause us to write this song called Kathy Won't Share.